Welcome back. This is going to be an interesting video. I'd really like to educate you guys with something, but it might just be a bunch of time lapses. Who knows? Maybe something will break and I'll have to fix it. I have all the machines running. It's only 10:30 or so in the morning. It's already 83 degrees in here. I can't believe some people pay to go to a sauna. I work in a sauna. I get paid to be in a sauna. What does that mean? That will randomly happen every once in a while, and it's only this tower. If I turn this tower off and ran the job on the second tower, I have no problem. It seems to be a faulty sensor or something that intermittently will cause this problem. And I just have to stop it and clear it and start it back up, and sometimes it'll just go on and then sometimes it'll be fine. I need to get to the bottom of that, so if anybody knows, let me know. Let's see if it'll run. Yep, so that time it did, but oh, there it happened again. It stopped on 2. I just gotta start pushing some buttons. And I don't know too, it might be happening as it warms up, and I mean we're 1,000 booklets in, so I don't know. This is another thing that'll happen, so I'll start it up and then the fans, the vacuum turns on, but it never starts feeding and you can't do anything, so you have to do the emergency stop. And again, you see that with the jam on all these. And sometimes that'll happen. So I slowed it down to see if that would change it. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. I don't know. Well, I turned on the air here as the sheet comes in, and I ran, well, 10 until I'm out of stuff, and it worked fine. But I'm out of label stock. It should be here any minute, and I got to print the rest of the labels, so I'm really scratching my head on that. Perfect timing. Just got done perfect binding and the labels got here. So we're gonna run these, see if we get them done today. So to move this along, I'm printing one side color over here and the second side black over here. I try not to duplex labels because if they do peel off, it's a pain in the neck. Ask me how I know. I am still scratching my head with this. It seems to be an intermittent problem, which are the worst to try and figure out. I'm wondering if it's something having to do with these wires up here, because I had moved these around and then I seem to be able to run the last 200 without a problem, unless it's dirt on a sensor or something, and it could be any one of them, but I don't know. But I'll just have to keep trying to be observant to figure out what exactly is causing it. Okay, speaking of intermittent issues, I've been having one with the Perfect binder ever since I bought it, and it was randomly, and I mean like every couple weeks, I would get an error of a variator abnormality or voltage problem, and it was no big deal because I just would, reset the binder and, it'd be off to the races again. So yesterday, sorry I didn't record it, but I was busy, had that happen on here. It said that the variator voltage was over, I forget what it said. But anyways, I assumed it was because the glue wasn't getting hot. And since the glue was setting up in the pot, it wasn't able to turn the drums on the glue pot. So my problem was basically the heating element was not turning on. So first thing I checked was the voltage to the element, and there's 2 wires that go to the heating element, and I should have 240 volts AC between the 2 wires. And I had 120 on one wire, and the other wire was like 50 to 60 volts. And that was wrong. So, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, with intermittent issues, my general rule of thumb is unless I think I can figure it out with 1 or 2 things, if it might be, I just don't put too much time into it, and I run it until that intermittent issue becomes a constant issue. And that is basically what happened here. So that intermittent issue became a constant issue. And so anyways, back to figuring out what the problem was. I originally thought, well, am I getting the correct voltage to the machine? Because I've had issues in the past where the power coming from the pole from the power company, the voltage was incorrect, and then your machine started doing real crazy stuff that you just cannot make sense of. It happens when the phases get out of sync or something. But anyways, so that's the first thing I checked. I made sure I had the correct voltage coming into the machine, which I did. Okay, so after I confirmed that the voltage going into the machine was correct, I thought to myself, well, where does it go next? And it goes to a transformer, and I was, going through looking at the wires, and when I touched one wire, I heard crackling, and the machine was energized at this point because I was reading the voltages, and when I heard like a connection being made, then I heard the fan spin up a little bit faster, like the correct voltage was actually getting into the fans. And I thought, well, that was it. And it was. So that intermittent connection, so what I did was I powered everything down, and the connectors that go into the transformer, I just unscrewed them. I pulled them all out, put them all in, and re-screwed them back in tight. And then I had a sufficient connection. And then I went and I checked the heating element, and I had my 240 volts, put it all back together, and we were good to go. So that being said, like I said, usually if there's an intermittent issue, I don't really mess around with it a whole lot. Just kind of like this collator. I doubt I'm going to try and spearhead this because I'm not sure where to look. And it actually makes it easier if you just run it till it breaks, and then you have something that you can actually fix. So that's just my 2 cents. Well, I think that's about all I have time for this week. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Mike, for the sweet wall graphic. I think it looks pretty good in the shop here. See you next week.